Ignite to Impact.
This is Dr. Geneva, and welcome to Ignite to Impact. Investor, president of a foundation, and in the Ebony Power 100 Women. Now, do you know who I'm talking about? Well, you getting ready to meet Kiko Davis. I am so thrilled. She's in studio with me, looking glamorous, looking that vibrant life, and you know I love it. And so here on Ignite to Impact, we talk with leaders, everyday folk, and celebrities about how they can unleash their influence to make a difference in the world. They push through fears, they push through challenges, and they find a way to make a difference in the lives of others, making tremendous impact. So you can see why I'm so delighted to have as my guest Kiko Davis. She has a long list of accomplishments, but you know what's better? We're going to hear about it straight up and personal from her. Hi, Kiko.
Hi, how are you doing?
I am great, and you look fabulous.
Oh, thank you so much. You're too kind, and you look fabulous as well.
Well, thank you, but you exude that vibrancy and just... it's just so great to have you here. And, you know, before we started rolling the tape, Kiko and I were sharing, we admitted that, and we know we've known for a while, we've been kindred spirits. And yes. I just see her just doing all sorts of wonderful things. And as you know, I mentioned that she was in the annual Power 100 list in Ebony. And I'm just going to start with that off right away, Kiko. So when you flip to page, what's the page?
Page 68.
Okay. So when you flip to page 68 and see yourself, what goes through your mind?
Oh, first of all, I'm humbled, I'm blessed, and a little surprised, you know, because I never imagined, and it was never a goal, but as a child growing up, I would see the magazine, and it used to previously be called the most influential African Americans. Mm-hmm. And I think about 2000, Ebony changed it to the Power 100, but it's still essentially the same thing. A group of phenomenal, iconic individuals who are making strides and making a positive impact in the African American community. And as a child growing up, I would see that magazine. I was in awe. I was proud. It just gave me a sense of that I could be like that, and never imagined that I'd actually be in the magazine. So for me, I'm still pinching myself. It's a truly like humbling experience, but it's also a very exhilarating feeling at the same time. So when I found out, I was shocked. I was like, wait a minute, you sure? You know, you sure this is a real thing? You know, but just blessed, humbled, and excited about being included in such a iconic group of individuals.
Absolutely. And so what did the judges, what tell us why you believe the judges, the selection committee chose you?
You know, I don't honestly know for sure. I'm a very spiritual individual, so I believe that, you know, it was a blessing from God, and some of the things that I do impacted others that thought it was worthy of being acknowledged. It's nothing that I plan to do. It's just, this is my spirit, and I have a spirit of giving and helping others. And to be recognized for that is, the greatest gift in the world. Now, I do know that they have a committee and a board that makes the selection. I've tried to find out who nominated me, but they're very secretive about the process and how you're selected. And some of the individuals, I did speak to some of the other honorees, a few of them do know who nominated them, only because they have some inner workings with, some of the individuals. However, I have, to this day, I don't know who nominated me. I don't know how it happened. So I can only say that it was God and it was, his divine order.
Okay. So there's a lot of us who are blessed.
Yes.
There's a lot of us who give back, etc. But we ain't in this Ebony 100. So tell us then, what is it that you do?
Okay. So I would say I was in the women category, and so women of power. And I impact a lot of individuals, and specifically women, with the foundation, the Don Davis Legacy Foundation, which our goal and mission is to empower not just women, but that's one of our goals, is to empower women, men, and families in financial literacy, giving people the power to determine their destiny by giving them the tools to be able to finance their dreams and goals. And so that takes place with supporting organizations that help entrepreneurs, that help children that are looking to go on to college, and community programs that help the foundational needs of the community. So all of those things pulled together help elevate our mission of, giving back to the community through financial empowerment and financial literacy. So, our money basically controls our destiny. And we do that by learning and by educating ourselves on the importance of financial independence.
The Don Davis Foundation. Who's Don Davis?
So Don Davis was my late husband, and he was an iconic individual. Many people don't know him from the music world. That his later part of life was in the banking industry, and so he became known for First Independence Bank, which is controlled by our family. But prior to that, he was an iconic music producer, writer, publisher. He managed a multitude of star artists. The list is long. He started out at Motown, got his first break playing guitar on Motown's first hit record, which was Money. So it's kind of ironic that he started in business and the first hit record was Money, and then years later he goes on to own a bank. So,
and not only just own a bank, because I do believe, what is it, the seventh largest?
Yes, currently First Independence Bank is the seventh largest African-American owned bank in the United States.
How do you and Don meet?
I met him. I was his realtor. So
you were selling him real estate? You were selling him some houses, Kiko.
Right. Well, actually, he wanted to sell his home because he had this big, beautiful home on the lake, and he bought the home because it just, it was a show place, and he did a lot of entertaining. But as time went on, he stopped entertaining as much, and he just felt it was too much space, so he wanted to sell it. So basically, a referral. He was a referral, and I went to see him. And from the first time we met, even though it was for business, I was just smitten, and so was he. But that's we met, trying to do business at first, and eventually the business relationship, evolved to a friendship, and the rest is history.
And you have two beautiful children.
Yes, we do.
Yes, how wonderful.
Yes.
So it was love at first sight.
It actually was love at first sight. I felt something immediately, and so did he. I was reserved, but he let it all hang out. But he was a gentleman, but he was just so cute, because at the end of the meeting, he kept wanting to extend the meeting. And I was like, well, I have to go. I really didn't have to go, but I could tell it was getting late into the evening, and we started in the afternoon, and it was 3 hours later. So I politely said I had another appointment. However, I didn't. But he made sure he gave me his business card. He was like, here's my direct number, my cell number. And when he said, here's the fax number, I was like, oh, okay.
That was it.
That was
with the fax number.
He was like, this is the fax number. and a second cell phone number.
Oh, okay.
A backup cell.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, okay. And after that, we talked every day, from that time forward, and we never did not talk. We didn't let a day go by.
How beautiful. And so what were some of the foundation? Now the Don Davis Foundation, the dreams and conversations you all would have, are some of those dreams and visions and how to help folk, et cetera, part of the mission of the foundation?
Yes, absolutely. Don was a great mentor and friend to the community. Whenever I'm out now at events or doing charitable events, people always come up to me, and it's just so, it warms my heart when they come up and tell me the stories of how Don helped them with their business aspirations, with their personal goals, and just with positive influence in their lives. I was just at an event last night, and a gentleman came up to me. He was, I don't recall his name, sorry, but he was a inspector for the Detroit Police Department. And he said that his first rookie year, he met Don, and Don just took him under his wing and, taught him so much about business. And it's helped him, although he's been, in the Detroit Police Department, he has gone on to do other businesses outside of that, and he said he owes it all to Don, and he said had a huge impact on his life. So that was the type of person that Don was, and he was just committed to the community, committed to helping people be the best that they could be. And so with the foundation, I started that to pay tribute to all that he was to the community, but also to continue his legacy so that it didn't stop. His legacy is vast, and I think it's a responsibility that we continue it, because as a community, the only way we're going to continue to thrive is if we support one another and lift each other up. So it's not only a personal goal of mine, it was a personal goal of Don's. And I think that it is a requirement. It's something that, success is basically the rent you pay for having a seat at the table. You owe it to the community and to people at large to give back. So that is our mission.
And so, Kiko, when you think about, tell us a little bit about the journey you've been through. I mean, now you're sitting across from me, you look like you've got everything together, gorgeous in Ebony, looked at as a power woman, as a power individual in the country, running a foundation. How do you do it? Do you set goals? Do you have a vision? Tell us about how you do you.
Well, I most definitely set goals, and I write them down, because you cannot achieve what you can't see. So you have to visualize it. You have to put it, pen to paper, because it helps you kind of to map out your strategy. So it's just like if you're going to go to a location or a destination, you have to know where you're going, visualize where you're going, and either use a navigation system or something to help you get there. So definitely with the amount of projects and goals that I have put upon myself, I have to put that down. I have to have a strategic way of how I'm going to approach that.
Okay.
And I also make sure I reevaluate my goals. So you have to visualize it, write it down, work towards it, and periodically review it. And, there's people and places that help support that, so you got to have a great team around you. And, you're going to run into, bumps in the road and obstacles. Those come with the territory. No journey is perfect. No road is smooth. I don't want to minimize it, because some of those bumps and some of those obstacles can be pretty horrendous. And some of them, for some people will stop you from getting to where you need to go. However, with me, I think I have what I would call like a warrior spirit.
Okay.
And I take obstacles and bumps in the road as fuel to push me to go further. So I know that they're there. I know that they're going to happen. I don't know when they're going to happen, but I prepare myself for the day that they do.
Yeah, some great advice.
Yes.
If you're just joining us, it's my pleasure to have as my guest Kiko Davis, president of the Don Davis Legacy Foundation, featured in Ebony's recently released Power 100 list. Just phenomenal. And she's been sharing with us some tips and strategies, and I want to press that a little further, Kiko. So what's the best strategies that you share with women? I mean, what do you tell women?
I think one of the greatest things you can do is to not be afraid. And if you are afraid, it's okay to accept the fear, but you have to move past it. So it's okay to be fearful, but you don't stay stuck in your fear, because that will prevent you from getting where you need to go.
Okay.
And a lot of times we are our own worst enemy. So if that is yourself that's telling you can't do it, I mean, you do not listen.
Okay.
Or either you have to block it out. And a great thing to do is surround yourself with people, like-minded individuals, because they can be a great support system for you. Because if you are your own worst enemy, then you need someone that's going to tell you not to listen or to support you and lift you up. So women, a lot of times, we work well when we have like a sisterhood, or we have a village to help push us and motivate us. So, surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do, or who want to aspire, where you want to aspire to go. So that you are constantly encouraging yourself, and you have people around you that are doing the same.
So surround yourselves with a cheering squad.
Exactly.
People who are supporting you.
Yes.
And are role models too. That's
Exactly.
part of what I'm hearing
Yes.
as well. Yeah.
Have a circle. In your circle, you should never be the highest person in your circle. You should never be the lowest.
Okay.
So if you're always in the middle, that means you have people that look up to you, and you have people that you look up to. And that makes for a great energy, because you're pulling people up, and people are pulling you up. And that's what you want to strive for.
That's a good one. So what's next for you?
Oh my gosh, just working on a multitude of things. One of the things that I'm working on is a documentary, and I'm working with. I'm not at liberty to say what it is yet, because we're trying to.
Because that was next. I want a title, when it was going to be released, what was it about, the whole bit. But okay.
Well, yeah, they asked me not to divulge that information yet, but I could give you a little teaser.
All right, give us a trailer teaser. Yes.
I can only tell you that I'm working on something big, and that it is going to be iconic, and I think everyone is going to love it.
Fabulous.
So that, and then working on some other film projects.
Okay.
Just kind of in discussions, looking at my options, and some television projects. And we didn't talk about this, but I also manage my late husband's music catalog.
Okay, so tell us about that.
So with that, he wrote and produced so many hit records. And as you know, a lot of it was like Motown, Stax, and all of the current artists. What they do is they sample the old music. So they'll take a portion of the song and put it into their song. And sometimes they will even take some of the lyrics. So basically what I do is manage the publishing. So I issue the license for them to be able to do that.
Okay.
So, there's always requests for commercials, films, television, as well as, digital for the music. And so we manage those processes. And so like the projects that I'm working on, which the film and television, I already have the rights to a lot of the music. So I will be kind of double dipping,
Yes, yes.
So, yeah, that is something that has been continual. Jay-Z has sampled, Beyonce, Snoop Dogg, Chrysler, GM. So it's just a lot of different avenues that the music gets utilized in.
Yes, yes. How exciting. So, it just seems like your life is so vibrant. Am I reading that right?
I do feel like I have a spirit inside of me that has been God-given and directed. And so with so much that has happened, it has given me so much power, just the energy, I would say, to overcome the obstacles and still be able to smile is a true gift.
Absolutely.
And so I would say that what you see is it's the God in me.
Yes.
He's helped me get through and continues to lift me up because I have not given up. I have not lost faith. And even through the horrible, terrible times that I've gone through, I know that in the end, I'm going to be okay. And so I make it through. And then that's when more blessings come. And I think that is a gift that you have to share with others. So the smile and the spirit that you see is there for the benefit of everyone. So people can, see that there is a positive outcome even when things look bad.
And it's really great to be able to take all that you have, take all that you believe, and turn it into good.
Exactly.
Which is clearly what the foundation is doing. And the name of it is Don Davis Legacy Foundation.
Legacy
so I
Foundation.
want to talk about legacy. And what do you think? So I'd love to hear, you talked a little bit about what Don did and Don, and I just want to share with my listeners that I knew the great Don Davis well. I sat on his board for a number of years and watched him in action. And he was, very talented, of course, smart as a whip. But what I remember most and respected most about Don was his heart.
Yes.
Because he was such a giving person. He would always, in my view, give beyond himself. And so when I see Don Davis Legacy Foundation, it just reminds me, it just says to me of giving beyond yourself. And so you've shared his passion and view of legacy. What's yours?
Well, part of that, I think the reason why Don and I were such a great or had such a great partnership is because we had a lot of the same views on family, on legacy. And I truly believe that you're only as great as the legacy you leave. And so I think it's very important that as a community that we realize that we have to invest in building a legacy. It doesn't just happen overnight. You have to make, sacrifices.
Yes.
You have to build a foundation because it's not about what you can get out of this life. It's about what you can do to impact others. And so I truly believe that there's no greater gift than giving the gift of financial independence or just personal growth to someone, because that is something that will continue to live on long after you have, taken your last breath. So I wanted to make sure that his legacy, my legacy, and just our community's legacy is preserved and continues to thrive for long after you're gone, I'm gone, all of us are gone. Our legacy will continue on because history, we have made huge impacts on this world, and will continue to do so, but we have to make sure we are investing in a legacy that will continue to thrive.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Yes, Kiko. Bravo. And thank you, for all you do, because you had choices.
Yes.
I mean, you could have done other things. You could have done a lot of other things, but you chose to do legacy, to build financial independence and personal growth. You chose to do that, and we love you for it. Oh, tell me.
Yeah, I don't know if I chose to do that.
Tell us.
Because I kind of feel it was placed upon me.
Okay.
As a purpose and a requirement of something in it, because I shied away from it in the beginning, and I just kind of wanted to go off silently and into the sunset after my husband passed, and kind of just be really left alone, raise my children, and be a good mother. However, it wouldn't let me rest. It's just something in my spirit wouldn't let me rest. And I believe it was probably Don and God and, a bunch of other things. So I believe that some things are placed upon your spirit, and when you are walking into your purpose, things just fall into place naturally to help you get to where you're supposed to go. And that's kind of like what happened with me. It wasn't something I was looking for. I actually was trying to find ways to, bow out, kind of, out of the spotlight, and just kind of do me, right? But that was not what was, that was not the outcome.
That was not what was there.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. And so was there something, can you remember that moment, or was it a moment? Can you remember what it was that turned you from wanting to be out the spotlight, just be that great mom, just do your thing?
Yes. Well, I would say what kept happening, people kept coming up to me, telling me what an impact Don had on their life. And some people were just bold and said, well, you need to make sure his legacy doesn't die. And that just broke my heart when, people repeatedly kept saying that to me. You have to carry his legacy on because his legacy is important to our community and to our children. And if you don't do this, who's going to do it? Who has the ability to do it like you can and take care of it and make sure that it moves forward in the proper fashion that it should be taken, So that happened over and over and over again. And it just kind of started eating away at me. I felt, guilty.
Okay.
So, and then too, I started thinking, my children and I are fine. But what about everyone else? And then just little things started happening that people asked me to start speaking and doing different things. And I found the courage to do it because at first it was very difficult. When you lose someone you love, to talk about it, it used to bring an immense amount of pain. So it's like, how am I going to, lift up his legacy when I'm so distraught and so grief-stricken? So that was a process as well. But I prayed, and the people around me, just rallied around me, and the support was just phenomenal. And eventually I started gaining my legs, gaining strength, and working past that, realizing that in the end, it wasn't about me, and that I had to, go through a process and that everybody would understand. If I got up to speak and I started crying, I'm human. They understood. I wasn't being, disrespectful of his legacy or letting them down, but I was human. So I learned how to deal with all those different emotions. And in the end, it has been the greatest gift that I could give to my children, myself, and to the community, because now I'm empowered. My children are empowered. I feel so much better. And in the process, I have been able to lift, empower, and encourage so many people along the way.
Thank you. Thank you for that gift. And thank you for sharing with us your journey and how you were able to push through the fear, the pain, the grief, and come to this point where all of us benefit. And so thank you so much, Kiko Davis, and thanks for joining me in studio, and congratulations on all of your success, and I can't wait to hear about all your new projects.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I just want to make sure that you know, I'm sure you know this, Don thought you were such a phenomenal lady.
Oh,
he thought you were
thank you.
beautiful, you were so smart, and he was very proud to have you on the board, and he couldn't say enough glowing things about you. So, and I agree. You are truly a beautiful woman, you're smart, and it's been an honor to be here with you today.
Thank you so much. That means so much, those words. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ignite to impact.